Well, hello everyone, and good morning, good evening, or wherever you happen to be in the world. Thank you for giving your time and watching this short recording. My name is Gerard O'Donovan. I'm one of the directors of Noble Manhattan, and you may know that Noble Manhattan is one of the premier coach training companies in the world, one of the top two, and we have trained over 25,000 magnificent coaches in over 30 countries. We have trained people to become wonderful life coaches, executive coaches, team coaches, parenting coaches, even creativity coaches. And now we're launching this magnificent NLP practitioner program. In fact, it's not just an NLP practitioner program. It's unique, different, and quite a bit more, as you're about to learn. So let me introduce our wonderful guest today, a magnificent NLP trainer called Ashley Gordon. When we decided to launch this program, we searched high and low for what we wanted to be the best NLP trainer we could find. And isn't it interesting that we actually found Ashley, who happens to live in the same town as I do, having looked far and wide across the world. And Ashley comes from that subtropical paradise known as Weymouth in the south of England. So good morning, Ashley, and welcome.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you very much for the lovely introduction.
How are you today?
Very good. Yeah, very good. In sunny Weymouth as usual. So
it is indeed. It never rains here.
No, that's it. That's it.
I think it might be interesting for the people watching to maybe just get a brief introduction to you and how you came across NLP those years ago.
Yeah, definitely. So for me, I came to NLP for a need rather than an interest. But actually, I stumbled into it as these things kind of tend to happen. I served in the army. I joined the army at 17 and done my training. 5 days after my 18th, I found myself deployed to Iraq. Spent a couple of tours of Iraq, and on return, I wasn't the same person that went out there. I mean, young sort of, fairly happy-go-lucky lad. Came back, and I noticed that, I kind of knew deep down, but I didn't really admit it, that I was struggling with anger and sadness and getting myself into trouble and just a bit lost, really. Anyway, I got out of the army, and for the next several years, my life just sort of seemed to spiral out of control, really, down and down, until one day I was referred to a workshop, and I went along for a weekend workshop, and so didn't really know what it was about, but I was curious and I was keen to make some changes, and I knew I needed some support. And I walked in there, and it was sort of a room full of maybe 30 or 40 people, and they started talking about your unconscious mind and talking about emotions and how you can let go of these things, and you can change. You've got a choice in what you do next. Maybe the things that have happened to you in the past weren't your fault, it wasn't your responsibility, but actually now you can have a responsibility and a choice to make some positive changes. Anyway, I thought, what, I'll just humor you. The food's quite nice and there's a little getaway, and I'll just go along with it. And went through some processes, and they started talking about things such as neuro-linguistic programming, TimeLine therapy, hypnotherapy. And again, I just thought, all right, well, these seem quite nice people, and not sure if it'll help or not, but I'll sit there and I'll go through the process. And I followed through for the weekend. Didn't really sort of get like a eureka moment, that's it. I'm free and I can, move forward in life, and I can walk and all this sort of stuff. And actually returned, and it was a couple of weeks, I think, and it was only when I was faced with a situation where I think I was out for a drink with friends or something, and somebody probably said something, an innocuous comment, and I always noticed that people around me sort of stood back, and they was expecting me to react in a kind of angry way or defensive way, and I felt sort of like I should, but I didn't get the charge. I didn't get the sort of rush of emotion and adrenaline, and anyway, I sort of monitored that for a few more weeks, and I thought, I think this is it. This is something that shifted my emotions. And to that point, I'd been through counseling, therapies, different sort of self-help techniques, and everything had helped in its own way, apart from shifting that emotion and letting go of the sort of some people say about emotional baggage. I feel like I had cargo,
Yes.
and that was the first time that I had that shift. So I just went away and explored these techniques, and I got into training, and I done my practitioner and master practitioner up in London, and then I was like, I'm hooked. I need to get more of this, and I went actually over to the States and trained as a trainer and for me that was to stay close to the lineage, and there was some great trainers over there to really sort of get me to that next level. And for me, it's just gone strength to strength and almost gone full circle. And now I'm running workshops and I'm running trainings and helping people to sort of give them their lives back. And
You are indeed. You're changing people's lives.
Yeah, massively. And what a great reward and a byproduct really of my need is turned into something that can sort of pay it forward and help other people. And that's why I'm passionate to share this with the world and get more people trained up and involved and out there.
I bet the young 17-year-old soldier Ashley could never have imagined where his life would go.
Oh, absolutely not. And I think it's kind of the old cliche, but I don't know where I would be today without these techniques, and it wouldn't be a positive place for sure.
No. Well, this course that we've put together, normally people will have heard of an NLP practitioner program. They may be familiar with that. But this program that we've put together, Ashley, is unique. It's different. It's much more than that. It's going to qualify people as an NLP practitioner and TimeLine therapy and hypnotherapy. So it's a hugely more effective, more all-encompassing program. Could you tell us a little bit about, why learn NLP? Why learn hypnosis? Why learn TimeLine?
Definitely, yeah. I'm interested you lay it out that way, because that's how I work with clients, and that's how I train my students to work with clients, because we know it works. We know we get the best results. So, for example, if you were to just learn NLP, potentially you'll have loads of good tools and techniques to get somebody to a certain level. But if then you find that as most people do, struggle with negative emotions, for example, anger, sadness, fear, hurt, guilt, limiting decisions about themselves, I'm not good enough, or I can't achieve my goals, or, I'm just a product of my environment or my past. You'll find that you can move people, say, maybe 2 steps forward and then end up coming 1 step back, or maybe 2 steps back. It just depends on the situation. So without being able to clear up that personal history and let go of the things that dragging and holding people back, it's very hard to then excel to the next level and get them to achieve greater things. And this is for yourself as a practitioner going through this. I always say NLP is, to sum up NLP, it's a lifestyle. It's a way of adopting positive beliefs about your environment, yourself, your clients who you work with. And it's not something you just switch on and off. It's something that you actually indoctrinate and you really get into it and enjoy the results. And the more the results you see, the more you want to progress and learn and go up through the levels. Once you've used TimeLine therapy and you've freed yourself and you've got to a point where you feel clear, you're not carrying all the negative baggage from the past, then it's time to move on and set some goals and actually put them in your timeline. Actually something that you believe is going to happen and you feel like you can have it now, and you can really get into that. And we all do this in our imaginations, either for negative reasons or for positive. We either think about bad things or we think about good things. And if we can get some real good things ahead of us and believe that we're going to get close to those, the now can feel a lot better. And it's our imagination, but I think it's a very underused skill, our imaginations. Right. And then the hypnotherapy. So the reason we use hypnotherapy in this setting is everything's delivered linguistically. And in NLP, we've got neuro, which is our minds, and our linguistics, which is our language that we use that self-talk inside our heads. We all have it. and it can either be your best friend or your worst enemy. We want to make it your best friend because you're stuck with it. And then your programs, the problems or the programs that we run in our lives, our habits, through hypnotherapy and the hypnosis techniques, actually we can deliver this eloquently, which actually bypasses the critical factor. People walk around in life sometimes and they're holding on to problems and they're kind of going problem, problem, problem. We want them to sort of put the problem down for a minute, focus over towards a solution. And the way you do that is how you deliver these techniques. And hypnotherapy really builds up the connection between the unconscious and the conscious mind and helps people to feel whole instead of sort of on one hand, I know I can do this in my life, but on the other, I've got all these problems and these thoughts and these things that have happened that hold me back. And what we aim to do is actually bring those together and realize we're part of a greater whole. And we work better as a whole instead of fractionated little parts.
Oh, wow. That's a good explanation. Thank you. So this particular training program, for people watching this, I guess they'd like to know, how does the training and the certification work? What's the structure of the training and who is it certified by?
Yeah, definitely. So the way we run at the practitioner level for the first level of training is 55 hours of self pre-study.
Mm-hmm.
So that means you receive a manual, you receive other books that are related to this topic. Also, there is some about 20 audio files to listen to,
mm-hmm.
which will take you through the training from start to finish, but obviously remotely in your own time. Also, there's a test that goes along with that, so that you can fill it out as you go along just to keep you on track, and then you hand that in when you get to the training. From that point, there's actually a 6-day live training. So we're in person. I explain, demonstrate, and give you a chance to do it with another live person that you don't know, so that you can walk away with the confidence that you've done every single technique and you've been evaluated during that process.
Fantastic. So we will actually be getting together physically as a group for 6 days in an environment. We can build relationships, we'll learn the techniques and practice with the other people.
Yeah, and it's a transformational experience. And I know that's sort of over-egged sometimes, how you're sat in a room, you'll come in there with your past experiences, you're working with people that have got their own challenges and beliefs. And then by the end of it, you're actually walking away knowing that, okay, it's a training environment, but you've taken that person from having a problem to not having a problem. Because we always work on real life scenarios because that makes it authentic and it makes it useful. And by the end of that, you can walk away knowing, well, I've actually cleared up some stuff for myself. So it's a double benefit, really. You can work on yourself, but then also, you've walked away with the confidence that I've gone through every single technique and I've done it. And I've had a trained, certified trainer evaluate on that and sign it off and pass that.
And actually not only learn the technique, but had the ability to demonstrate it, practice it, and use it on another person, face to face.
Definitely, yeah. And I think that's vital with these techniques, because things can be open to interpretation. So without me sat in the room with somebody, I can't certify them with confidence, knowing that they've done that task to the best degree. So
to put it in a nutshell for people watching, there's going to be quite an in-depth amount of, I'll call it self-paced learning that they can do themselves from home. There will be books, manuals, many hours of downloadable streaming audios that they can watch. And of course, those are resources that they will have ongoing, that they can return to when they need. And then we will come together. And for people watching, we're going to be doing this in many different locations around the world over a period of time. So we will come together at a location for 6 consecutive days, in depth. Great.
It's immersive training. It's very much immersive training, and we pack a lot into that 6 days. But the good thing is, the reason we can do that is because of the self-study, because you've already come in with an awareness of those techniques.
Fantastic. And I believe it is accredited by one of the international organizations.
Yep. So we've actually got three boards that this training is approved and certified by. The first one being the ABNLP, so American Board of Neuro-Linguistic Programming. Easy for me to say. And the ABH, which is the American Board of Hypnotherapy.
Yep.
So those two in themselves are the largest boards in the world. They are internationally recognized. And because I've trained as a trainer underneath one of the organizations that is approved by them, I continue my membership to make sure that I'm accredited and signed off. Also, people can, once they've become a practitioner or a master practitioner, they can sign up and be approved by them as well as a training institute. The third one is the TimeLine Therapy Association, so is it TLTA. That itself actually is the only timeline therapy board, because timeline therapy is a trademark and it's all rights reserved. NLP was a trademark, but it wasn't enforced. And over time, in certain areas, it may have been watered down and maybe not trained ethically. Whereas timeline therapy has been enforced from the start. So it's good for me, because I know that when I'm training people, unless they're trained in timeline therapy under that board, they haven't got that technique. And for you as a practitioner or a master practitioner, that really gives you a bit of an edge above your market, because you can hand on heart say, well, I am a timeline therapy practitioner and I've got these techniques, and here's the history and here's the lineage.
Fantastic. And if someone were to engage in our program and they become fully accredited, what other areas of life can they use this knowledge and these skills in?
So wide range. I always think any area of life, personal life, your career, relationships, spirituality for an individual. If you're using this as in business or in charity, you've got in business itself, this is a very powerful set of tools and techniques which can help you to understand how people think and how they operate to get the best out of your staff and your workforce. Also, it could be in education. I actively use these techniques in education, and it breaks down the barrier, building rapport and getting young people to really buy into what you're helping them with. Therapy, coaching, training, very wide area that you could apply all these techniques to.
I remember many years ago, I was taught a man called Jim Rohn. I was lucky to have Jim as one of my early mentors. And he had a phrase, and he said, the quality of your life is the quality of your communication. And from what I know, having studied NLP and these other areas, it's all about effective communication, being able to communicate not only with yourself, but communicate effectively with others, to be able to reach out and touch others, touch them deeply with the power of words, the power of language.
Definitely, yeah.
So that is actually amazing. And I don't actually think it's an exaggeration to say that it is life-changing. When you learn these skills and you learn how to work with other human beings, reach deep into their heart and help them to change in a positive way, not only is it incredibly satisfying and rewarding, but the ability to help other human beings like that is, well, you're a military man, they would use the expression above and beyond the call of duty. So
yeah, I strongly agree with that, and I think I can often, the work I do in the areas that I operate, I see a lot of times coaches, counselors, therapists, they have got great skills and great techniques and they've got great stories, but they haven't always got the ability to, as you just said, break down that barriers, touch people sort of deeply, so that they then believe that you've got something that can help them. And I'm very ethical about what I train, and I only certify people that I know are using this for the power of good. But if you need to go away and get through those barriers and those resistance to understand, so people can actually realize that you're on their side and you're doing things for the right reason. And I think a lot of powerful sort of techniques and interventions are wasted because they haven't got that initial communication style understanding so that they can sort of open the door and bypass that real critical sort of, well, nobody can help me. I've tried everything. Actually, you haven't tried this. This is a new thing that you're coming across.
And knowing we were going to be meeting today, I wrote a few questions down that I was going to ask you. And the final question I wrote down, which I don't really think I need to ask, but it's, how big is the market? If you are a coach, or you are a training to be a coach, or you're not a coach, but you want to use NLP to help others, how big is the market out there for this?
I believe it's massive. And at the moment, you've only got to turn on the media or social media, and you can see that I think people are more aware than ever that the sort of the onus and responsibility needs to be on them to be able to make changes and to find a positive solution to their problems, etc. So if you can position yourself and actually make offers that you can back up, and I think there's a lot online now that sort of talks a good game, but necessarily doesn't always sort of follow through, unfortunately. So if you can set yourself up as somebody that can, as a practitioner that could take somebody in who's got challenges, they've got limiting beliefs, negative emotions, they're stuck, and you can offer them a solution to the point that you work with them for a short period of time, and they walk away and they say, actually, yeah, I'm free. I've let that go. That's behind me. I'm in a better current situation. I've got goals. I've got direction for the future. You can charge really what you want for that. But actually you can charge a good rate because you get great results.
And there's an organization called PwC, PricewaterhouseCoopers, and I read a report of those about 4 or 5 months ago, so this year, and it said that, and I couldn't believe this, so I double checked. It said 80% of all employees, this is worldwide, 80% of people who work for companies are unhappy in their job. 80%. That's a figure almost beyond belief. So many.
Yeah, it's huge.
And so the market, and that's just in their job, never mind their lives, helping them as parents, helping them as individuals, helping them with their goals. So the market is indeed enormous.
Definitely. And I think the world is changing. We're evolving at such a rate that people, I feel like technology has overtaken personal development, and that's going to cause problems.
Yeah.
So if you've got the skills that understands how we think, how we can overcome barriers, how you can adapt, then you're in the right position, because again, it's recession proof, it's internet proof. That's
a good point.
Yeah. And actually, we need more people that can deal with trauma. There's a lot of trauma going on around the world. It'd be great, and again, people don't always use this for sort of business and monetary gains.
One interesting point, and maybe people won't have picked up on this. I'm a coach, you're a coach. I live in a small town in the south of England. Most of my clients I don't physically meet. I deal with them online. And the same is true here. So what we're offering people is skills, tools, techniques, accreditation in a particular product and service that they can offer to the world. They don't have to limit themselves to where they physically are.
Yeah, definitely. And during COVID, that was the test for all personal development, coaching, training, therapy. That was the test. If you couldn't do it online, I think the whole industry would have collapsed.
Yeah.
And it's just a testament. And some people have grown exponentially because they can reach more people. They've realized now that we can sit like this and I can guide you through things, and we can have feedback and evaluation. So.
Yeah. Well, listen, thank you for your time today, Ashley. I really appreciate it. And for all those of you watching, there is more information here on this website, and our contact details are here at the bottom. You can contact us. And a very important point, we are offering partial scholarships. So if you happen to be in a situation that might be a little bit difficult economically or financially, please be aware that partial scholarships are available. And further down on this website, there's a button that will allow you to apply for a scholarship. You can see what you can get without any obligation to take it any further. So it makes sense to at least apply. So thank you, Ashley, and thank all of you for watching and listening. And if we can be of any further help, just message us. Thank you very much.